Yeah, so Russia can't pull this off. They don't have access to the chips, even though they might have water and fuel. And Saudis can't pull it off because they don't have water to be able to
Yeah.
cool. So the U.S. sort of sits in a primo spot, but everyone else sits in the position of needing to innovate in order to pull this off, right?
Yeah.
Welcome to Practical AI, everybody. My name is Jeff. I'm here with Peter Lynn. This, of course, is season 3 of Practical AI, and we are sponsored by Pocket AI. Pocket AI is a tool you can use to edit the weights of your model. With Pocket AI, you can prune over 60% of the weights in your model without decreasing accuracy. Peter, before we get into our hot topic, we have a little segment we wanted to call AI Fails. And we had a failure over the last couple weeks, and it had to do with chess. Tell us
Yeah.
a little bit about what
Yeah. So
happened.
someone did an experiment.
So go ahead, sorry.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah. Basically, someone took Atari, kind of the old chess program for Atari, which is, pretty slow. This is from we were kids, and they pit it against GPT to see how well it played. And it turns out that GPT sucked and couldn't even beat an Atari chess game.
So a 1970s computer, essentially computer, I put that in quotes because I never really thought of my Atari as a computer, but it beat ChatGPT.
Yeah.
Any idea why that is? Like what happens there?
No, it's simple. It's even though we fed GPT the whole entire internet, and there's thousands and thousands of pages of chess games and rules about chess, and there's literally there are entire books about chess and the game of chess and strategies. It consumed all of that, but it didn't actually learn the rules of chess, right? Because it's still just predicting the next thing. So if you gave it a game that's not in its memorized database, you know, it basically becomes dumb.
Okay. And this is different than all the models that play chess all the time. That's all they do, right? This is a
Yeah.
totally different thing, right?
Yeah. So for example, AlphaGo and AlphaZero, they actually have the rules of the game in it, and then to build a database of games and strategies, it played itself.
Okay.
But fundamentally, it starts with the rules of the game. So it knows, what are the moves that are allowed for each piece. A pawn can move forward, it can eat another piece in this way, a queen, a rook, a castle. So it knows how it can move, what blocks it, what doesn't. It knows that a knight moves in a certain fashion, right? So it has the rules of the game. And then to build a database, an intuition about how to play and when, that's done through just playing itself.
And this is sort of inversely related to the catastrophic forgetting, right? It's because anything that can go deep is not broad, and anything that's broad is not deep, right?
Yep.
Okay. Good. All right. Well, let's switch over to our hot topic. And our hot topic today is the sort of power conundrum.
Right. This
And
feeling. Yep.
yeah, we have another video we'll share in the notes box. But tell us a little bit about the power problem that's becoming more and more apparent.
Yeah. So I mean, so a few people have mentioned this for a few years now, right? But most of the industry, the big players, don't because they don't want people to know this. But basically, to go from GPT-2 to 3 to 4, you have to scale the power requirement up a million times, right? And so from 2 to 3, they scale it up, right? And then from 3 to 4, they scale it up. And then from 4 to 4.5, they try to scale it up, but OpenAI has come out and said that, basically it's the same. 4 and 4.5 are the same. All they're doing is they're letting it think longer. So that means that the foundation model isn't scaling like they thought, or that in order to actually get a million times more power to train it, right, it's not feasible because there's just not enough data centers. There are not enough AI data centers. But if you were to take the math and try to extrapolate, so let's say it scaled perfectly from 4 to 5. Well, from 5 to 6, you have to scale another million times, right? If you did that, how much power would that be? So the answer is that's more power than is available today on Earth.
So, Toby Ord from Oxford University, he has a discussion on this, the scaling paradox. It's a 3 hour video, and what we're trying to do here is just sum this down into just a couple of minutes. But this obviously is a problem. So, everything we want to do in AI would require more power than is available on Earth.
Yep.
So, we can't do that. So, what's the answer?
So the answer is we have to accelerate the performance improvement, right? So for example, when DeepSeek came out, they showed that you could train much more efficiently and run much more efficiently, which is great. But even if you show, okay, my model is 100 times smaller and more efficient, that doesn't, match that gap of a million times between 3 and 4, right? Like you're still several orders of magnitude short of what you need to be in order to keep progress moving. And so we have to accelerate the speed improvement. We have to accelerate making models smaller and smaller and smaller, right? So instead of saying we need to go from 1 trillion to 100 trillion or 1,000 trillion parameters, we need to go smaller
Mm,
because in order to run all these models for a million people at the same time, right? It's before when you train things, it's just one huge cluster with like 50,000, 100,000 GPUs. That's one person. But now when you want to run it for everyone in America, how many data centers are you going to need to run prompts for a million people? Like you can't have a million data centers with 100,000 GPUs. That's just not feasible.
Well, and, you and I were talking offline that it's one thing for to have access to the natural resources, i.e., power, to be able to pull this off. But you need more than just power, right? And so
Yeah, you
even if
need power, you need cooling, you need the chips, you need the building, you need the infrastructure, you need the actual people, you need a town, you need the internet connection to get to the data center. So
yeah,
there's like a lot of things.
yeah. So Russia can't pull this off. They don't have access to the chips, even though they might have water and fuel. And Saudis can't pull it off because they don't have water to be able to
Yeah.
cool. So the U.S. sort of sits in a primo spot, but everyone else sits in the position of needing to innovate in order to pull this off, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So, like we've said before, necessity is the mother of all invention. It seems to me that the U.S. will only be in this position for a short period of time, as everyone else has like half the requirements in order to be able to do this. Yet everyone else doesn't want to have to spend or put all their hope that the U.S. is going to play nice forever.
Well, I mean, we're seeing that EU doesn't trust the US at all. I mean, before the EU was kind of like, okay, well, the US is leading the way and they're putting all this money into it. So we'll ignore the fact that they're kind of abusing all of EU.
Yeah,
But now with the current administration, they're like, well, no, now we don't trust you.
yeah.
And so now
It's
they're
at
they're
least a risk, right? Whether, however political it gets, it's at least a risk that
yeah,
everyone has to contemplate.
yeah,
All right.
yeah.
So,
In fact,
where do you think this goes? Do you think there are efficiencies out there to be had that that will result in us being able to build the number of data centers we want?
I think it's going to take a whole bunch of things. It's going to be more data centers. It's going to be we'll need nuclear power. We can't shut down all those coal plants because we're going to need it. Because if we don't, that means we're going to start rationing power. So if you're in a town that has an AI data center, it might get to the point where like Amazon or Google or Microsoft or OpenAI says, "Oh, we need this power for the next 3 months to train." So you humans, like, sorry.
Well, that'll be bad press on anyone putting a data center near their town. So
Yeah, I mean,
that'd be
like,
a disaster.
who wants to have no AC and no fridge?
Right,
I wouldn't.
right. So where's the biggest efficiency gain to be had then?
we need new architectures. We need to make models smaller, right? This idea that you can go from 300 billion to a trillion and 2 trillion and 5 trillion, that's not going to work
You're
because
talking parameters, right? Or weights.
parameters.
Yeah.
Yeah, yep,
Yeah.
yeah. So and we see this that with distillation that you can get a model that's 80 billion that does just as well as a model that's 380 billion.
Yeah.
So
At
clearly,
least for most use cases, right?
yeah, in most cases, through distillation for transformers, we can make much smaller models to
Yeah.
run, right? And that's needed because if you can run a 80 billion parameter model, then you need fewer GPUs. You need just one or two. Or if you use AMD's new chips that has enough memory, you can run it on one chip.
Do you think it's possible that behind the scenes they're already doing that, where prompts from me are going to the $8 billion or 8 billion parameter model, prompts from you are going to the 80, and prompts from NASA are going to the big model? Like, do you think that's happening
Well,
already?
I mean, it kind of already is based on your subscription. So if you sign up for OpenAI and you do the free one, you're just getting access to the smallest one.
Okay.
If you pay for the research one, which is was it I think $200 a month or $2,000 a month, that one you get access to the latest, like the O1 or the GPT 4 or 5 models. So
Got it.
you can pick from the whole catalog of all the models, and you can pick the one you want to use, right? But you're going to pay more per month.
Got it. Well, we've been talking about power a lot over the last couple of years, and this is like a problem that's obviously not going away, but it just seems to be poking its head up constantly. So
Yeah.
efficiencies, hopefully we see some efficiencies soon so that we can keep advancing the tech.
Yep.
Peter, thanks. This is a good topic, and I'm sure we'll cover it again. Be sure to follow us on Spotify. We are there, so you can listen to these episodes as well. And if you have any ideas for good topics, let us know, and we'll try to hit it. Thanks, everybody.